tracked my cheating wife to AP's house, informed his wife, and blindsided mine with divorce papers. I, 31, male, have been married to Lucy, 30, female, for over 3 years, perfectly happy, or so I thought. I treated her to a makeover for her last birthday, and I guess that was about when things started to change, or at least when I noticed it. My wife has 3 makeup looks: a quick errand-running look, an office look, 15 to 20 minutes, and a date/event look, 30 to 45 minutes. When we were dating, all I saw was the date look, and she was quite stunning. Most of the time, she's in the office look unless we go out. Then I get the date look. The weekend is usually errand mode. This is what tipped me off that something was amiss. She started wearing her date look to work once a week, and then sometimes when she would go out shopping on the weekend. I commented on it one night, and she said she only did it on special days when they took them out to lunch or had meetings with clients. I noticed that on days when she dressed up, she tended to be late coming home, usually with the excuse of having to work on a project. A couple of weeks ago, I took the car down to get the oil changed and stopped on the way home to run it through the car wash. I decided to give it a good vacuuming while I was there. I was cleaning the trunk when I noticed a small bag off to the side. Inside was her toiletries and makeup, plus some clothes. At first I assumed it was her gym bag, but there was a lingerie set in there, used and dirty, and my heart sank. I didn't say anything when I got home and started doing some chores around the house, trying to make sense of it all. I finally got an AirTag off one of our suitcases and put it deep down into a pocket on her bag in the trunk. My work wife, Susan, has become one of my wife's closest friends, and we talk about almost everything, including things you shouldn't share with a coworker of the opposite sex. I told Susan about the change in Lucy's makeup habits and her working late. I asked Susan if she thought Lucy could be stepping out on me. Susan's denial was swift and absolute, that Lucy wasn't cheating on me and was just doing it because it gave her more self-confidence. Susan has a nervous tell when she's stressed about something, and after working with her for 8 years, I knew she was not being truthful. I did not tell her about finding the bag in Lucy's trunk. A couple of days later, Lucy got in the shower with me and started playing with me. After we got out, she gave me a BJ. I get a BJ from my wife on my birthday, anniversary, and around Christmas, and that's it. So now my head is spinning. I checked the bag in the trunk. It has fresh clothes and a different piece of lingerie in it as well. Saturday morning, Lucy says she's going shopping and grabbing lunch at the mall. I told her to give me a second and I would go with her. She said she was shopping for clothes and she knows how I hate that, but I said I didn't mind getting to spend extra time with her, and I might look for a new dress shirt while I'm out there and could use her opinion. She was clearly aggravated, but I was persistent, and we went shopping. The next week, I put a note in the bag. Come home. I know. Thursday, she was acting different, and I asked if she would be home on time. She wasn't sure but said she would call me if it looked like she might have to stay late. At 2 p.m., I saw her location had changed and was moving away from the house. I tried to call her, but it went to voicemail. I got a text that she was in a meeting and would call me later. I sent her one back and said I was in the neighborhood and thought I would bring her a snack and a latte. The AirTag now shows her heading back to the office. I picked up her latte and a sticky bun and got to her office in time to see her run to the door. I found her in her office and dropped off the latte, saying I would see her at home later. By 3 p.m., she's heading away from her office in the same direction as before. I sent her a text saying, I sent her, I love you, with a big heart emoji, and a couple of minutes later, she replied with a, me too. Shortly after, the bag stopped moving. After about 10 minutes, I tried to FaceTime her, but she didn't pick up. Then, she started blowing up my phone. I didn't answer. She sent texts asking me to please pick up the phone. When she got home, she asked me how long I had known. I told her I started wondering when she changed up her makeup routine, but I wasn't sure until a couple of weeks ago, when I found the bag in the trunk. I told her to tell Susan she was a bad liar. I said the divorce would be friendly, and she could then have her new lover without me in the way. She asked if there was some way I could forgive her and not go through with the divorce. I told her I needed the whole truth, how long it had been going on, and who it was with. She said it had been a couple of months and asked why it mattered who it was. I told her I didn't want to accidentally shake the hand of the man who ruined my marriage. She finally told me it was a co-worker, and gave me his name. I made her call him and hand me the phone. I introduced myself and said, "I know everything. Best confess to your wife before she finds out from me." And I hung up. I told Lucy she needed to block him and cut all contact. She said she had to work with him, and that would be impossible. I said, "I can't see any way this can work if you don't." Then I told her I was done talking, and she needed to think about how she was going to fix this. I was level-headed enough to record her confession on my phone, just in case she tries to change her story later. The next morning, I left early and waited outside my boss's office. I told him I couldn't work with Susan anymore for personal reasons. After talking to our boss, Susan confronted me in the hall, demanding an explanation. I told her she lied to me about knowing what Lucy was up to, and that I was on to her. I said I couldn't work with someone like that anymore. She apologized and said she told Lucy to end her affair before I found out for sure. I told her, "I wish that made it better, but that would just be another lie." So in short order, I've lost my best friend and possibly my marriage. I found the coworker's wife's contact info, and I'm sending her a copy of Lucy's confession tomorrow, just in case. I have an appointment with a lawyer to discuss my options tomorrow. My wife is still adamant that we can get past this, but she has yet to talk about why this happened in the first place. I feel shell-shocked, and while I don't want to get divorced, I can't imagine a way forward. Busy morning. I had a good chat with the lawyer this morning. He gave me some advice, a worksheet to fill out, and a list of do's and don'ts. We have a longer meeting scheduled for Friday, but he will start the paperwork too. He told me that informing the other wife may come back to bite me, and he was right. At work, my boss hit me with a short list of candidates to replace Susan. I have to interview and make a decision as soon as possible. I received a long email from Susan, apologizing for everything and asking to meet me for lunch to talk. My boss hasn't said anything, but the rumor mill is going crazy about Susan getting kicked off my team, and the amount of butt kissing around me is ridiculous. Lucy got called into HR before lunch and has been put on a performance improvement plan. It seems her affair partner turned in his resignation this morning, and during his exit interview, he threw Lucy under the bus. He admitted that they had been having an affair on company time. She is now terrified that she's going to get fired. If she gets fired, it will change the terms of the divorce, so my lawyer was right about this coming back to bite me. As far as the accolades for handling the situation so calmly, I should mention that I've lost 7 pounds in the last week, and nothing I eat stays in me for very long. I don't sleep more than 3 hours at a time, and I'm worried whenever I have to drive. I called my doctor and he prescribed something to help me sleep, but he also wants to see me tomorrow to run some tests, including an STD screen. Lucy and I are sleeping in separate rooms. I haven't mentioned divorce yet, though we have a couples therapist we're seeing on Monday afternoon. Well, talk about a makeover leading to a breakover. It's like she took the phrase, "New year, new me," a tad too literally. Who knew makeup could be the ultimate relationship barometer? If only there was a makeup tutorial on how to conceal infidelity. Maybe she thought a smoky eye could hide a shady affair. Susan should have majored in deception instead of whatever she does at work. But hey, at least now I know who not to trust with secrets, especially if they involve lipstick and lies. As for Lucy, she's playing a risky game of office romance roulette. Mixing business with pleasure is a surefire way to get a pink slip and a divorce decree all in one go. And her coworker really took the saying, "Leave work at work," to a whole new level, straight to HR. But hey, at least I'm shedding pounds faster than a shedding cat. Though I'm guessing it's not exactly the weight loss plan I had in mind. Who knew marital stress could be the ultimate diet? There's a lot to unpack, so I'll try to be brief. Sunday dinner with Lucy's parents, who are very conservative. Toward the end of dinner, She said we were going to counseling because she got caught cheating with a coworker. Her dad grilled her at the dinner table, and later yelled at her behind closed doors. Lucy cried most of the way home, saying that her dad now hated her. Since then, all communication from her mom has been through Lucy's sister. Therapy, for me, was like taking a test you already had the answers to and knew your grade. Lucy finally gave a timeline of the affair. Then I got to ask some questions. Asterisk, did she do anal? Asterisk, how many times did she blow him, since that was always rationed for me? Asterisk, how many times did they meet? Asterisk, did she use condoms? Asterisk, how many times did I get sloppy seconds? Asterisk, was he bigger than me? Who knew? Asterisk, did they trash talk me when they were screwing? Asterisk, did you lick his butt? There were others, but you get the idea. I didn't believe her answers, because at this point, I can't believe anything she says. I got a chance to tell Lucy how I felt, and we talked about a few things she needed to do, like confess to both our parents about what she did. Our therapist talked about what we needed to do going forward and gave us advice about what to think about before our next session. But that was about the extent of what we got through before time ran out. I will say one positive thing. She never blamed me for the affair or said I wasn't fulfilling her needs and forced her to seek them elsewhere. The FaceTime with my parents went great compared to hers. They were both pretty stoic. When she told them, my dad did say he was very disappointed in her decision-making. That's as close as my dad gets to calling someone the WW. I told a few of our friends the details. I made sure a couple of them were the type to do the work for me. Lucy has been beside herself answering questions coming in from all her friends. She's made me some ludicrous offers, an open-ended hall pass, opening the marriage, and other sexual favors. I told her 2 wrongs don't make a right, and I wasn't the one who wanted an open marriage. Tomorrow is Thursday, D-Day. She gets served her divorce papers around 9 a.m. What I wouldn't give to have a video of her getting served and seeing the look on her face. Why isn't that a service process servers offer? I was waiting until after tomorrow to update this post, maybe in a new post. Should I do a new update post or simply add it to this one? Let's see how the community is reacting to the story thus far. First up, I wouldn't let her back in bed with you until she gets tested, and you need to get tested as well. Unless you two have children together, I would insist she move out for the time being. Plan on starting divorce proceedings, and you can always change your mind later, but it shows her you're serious about her wrongdoing. Next person says, it amazes me how someone who supposedly loves their partner can treat them this way. The amount of effort required to lie, manipulate, and deceive their partner should never be underestimated. Best of luck if you try reconciliation, but given your circumstances, I would never entertain the idea. Get out and find someone who loves and respects you. Another zinger. For your information, Susan was never your friend. She just used you as well. OP updates in the comments. I know the affair partner's wife got my message. Lucy's phone is blowing up. It would seem the AP's wife heard the recording and has packed up her 3 kids and moved to a hotel. After she talks to a lawyer, she's moving in with her parents, 200+ miles away. She left a voicemail that would make a pirate blush. Well, talk about a family dinner that left a bad taste in everyone's mouth. If only they served shots of truth serum instead of gravy. And therapy sessions turning into Q&A sessions? Yikes. There are just some things I don't need to know. As for those ludicrous offers, it's like she's trying to bargain her way out of a cheating scandal. That's like a Black Friday deal. Buy one affair, get an open marriage free. More like open Pandora's box. And the affair partner's wife? Sounds like she's ready to raise some hell. Or at least relocate to a hotel room with enough privacy for a good old-fashioned angry voicemail session. A quick recap. I caught my wife, Lucy, having an affair with a married coworker. I put a note in her bag saying, "Come home." I know. She got home, confessed to seeing him for over 2 months, and begged for forgiveness. She said she'd do anything to stay together. I made her call him and hand me the phone. I introduced myself and said, "I know everything. Best confess to your wife before she finds out from me. Then I hung up. I had recorded my wife's confession and sent a copy to his wife. I told Lucy she had to confess to both our parents about what she did. My parents were upset, but her parents practically disowned her. The next day, her affair partner went to work early and turned in his notice. Before leaving, he threw my wife under the bus and confessed that most of their trysts happened in the afternoons, on company time. I met with a lawyer and got divorce proceedings underway. We went to therapy, where I got to ask a lot of uncomfortable questions and let her know how badly she hurt me. Afterward, she made those same ludicrous offers: a hall pass, open marriage, sexual favors. I told her, 2 wrongs don't make a right, and I wasn't the one who wanted an open marriage. Last Thursday she got served. And I dodged her phone calls all day. I had a neighbor couple with me at the house when she got there, and they witnessed her tantrum. She threw several items at me while yelling and screaming. The police were called, and they arrived in time to see her launch a glass at me. After getting the story from all 4 of us, they asked if I wanted to press charges, which I declined. They told her she needed to find someplace other than here to spend the night, and walked her in while she packed a bed bag. Her sister showed up and got her to go home to her apartment. Upon hearing about the events at my house, my lawyer wasted no time in getting a restraining order against my wife. When she got the restraining order, she had a panic attack or a nervous breakdown and had to be taken to the ER, where they kept her until Tuesday morning. On Sunday, her sister came by the house and packed up the rest of her things, taking them back to her place. I asked how Lucy was doing, but got nothing from her sister except some attitude. Tuesday morning, her lawyer finally reached out to mine, and they have meetings scheduled to talk about a settlement. At my lawyer's request, I have an appointment with a therapist, one he recommended, later in the week. A sincere shout out to several of you who have let me vent and offered encouragement privately. It has meant more than you know. The audience has some thoughts. I love cheating spouses who suddenly discover they desperately love their significant others after all and want to save the marriage. If only they had cared as much before they cheated. I'm sure this isn't easy for you, but you're handling it in the best way possible. Go no contact as soon as you can. Hope the divorce goes well and you can move on quickly. All the best. Someone else chimes in. I read this exact story months ago on Literotica. It's a business-to-business story. I don't remember the title, but I'll let you know if I do. Another user adds, the tantrum and the police visit? Really? It's like she's auditioning for a role in Real Housewives, Divorce Edition. I hope she brought her A game, because throwing glassware is so last season. And the restraining order? Talk about adding insult to injury. It's like getting served divorce papers with a side of, stay the heck away from me. Sorry, Lucy. There's no Oscar for best performance in a failed marriage. Though I have to give her credit for creativity. Who knew a mental breakdown could be the ultimate diversion tactic? It's like trying to put out a forest fire with a water pistol. Noble effort, but ultimately ineffective. Maybe next time she'll try a different approach, like actually facing the consequences of her actions instead of putting on a theatrical show. But hey, at least you're handling it like a pro. How did you catch your partner cheating? Share your stories with us in the comments below. And thank you for joining us today. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. See you next time.